1, 2, 3.
Kate Mila Falls, you're very welcome along to the Brian and Ciarán Warfield podcast, the ramblings of two Irish balladeers, featuring Brian Warfield of the fierce and mighty Wolfetones and his son Ciarán, that's me, of the band Catalpa, and also of the Bandwagon Bus, Dublin's only musical ballad tour on wheels. So sit back, relax, grab a tea, coffee, beer or wine or whatever takes your fancy as we go rambling through life's misty foggy dew, through stories, songs, history, politics, life on the road, and just a general bit of crack. That's Roisín Dubh, song number 15 off the Wolfetone album, The Foggy Dew. And Dad, the final song, 15, well actually 16, well 17 if you include the drunken one, and 16 if you include the James McLean one. But 15 have flown in, and what a way to finish off with such a great song as Roisín Dubh, and it's great to hear it in the Gaelic as it should be sung.
Yeah, well, in actual fact, we are down to Rose of Tralee, and we had won the Rose of Tralee competition for, they had a kind of a talent competition there. And we won it, and we also won the pub competition, which was, we were in the Tavern Bar there in Tralee, and that was the bar we were allotted to. to entertain the people in that bar. And so that bar got first prize in the competition, and we won the talent competition, whatever it was. And
how was it judged?
There was fellas went around, judges went around. You never knew when they were coming in to
look at it.
To look at it, and then what they did was we provided street entertainment. So we would set up in the main street somewhere, and people would gather around you, and then the judges. You never know when the judges would come, but they'd be in and out around the town and making notes, and
right.
Many people had surrounded you and all that kind of thing, and how good you were at entertaining. And
would you not see them with their notebooks? Like, at least if they had their iPhones.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that no iPhones, I'm afraid. They probably making mental notes. So they weren't obvious. But anyhow, that's the way it was done. And it was great fun because it was given entertainment to the people around the town. Because we'd go out, we'd be day and night. You'd had to do a little shift here and there. And then the pub at night, and we entertained them for the full week in the pub.
Did you just get free drink, or did you get money, or what was the...
Oh, we got no money. We got free drink, yeah. I think we are allotted 2 pints a night or something like that. And then
2 pints?
2 pints a night.
Yes, that's miserable.
And then anybody else that might buy you one from the audience.
And would you do well out of the audience?
We often encourage them, to it's very thirsty work up here, and the usual, you get the drink sent up to you.
I did the Rose of Tralee when I was quite young. I think I went down with John Walsh, and the two of us just I went rambled into different bars, and said, look, we'll play a few tunes if you give us beer and all that. And we had a great time. It was a great 3 days. I think we were down there for 3 days, or it could have been 2. But we ended up out in Inch. Out in Inch.
Yeah.
And we went out there for a swim, and because we had kept in the car that night, there was no hotels or anything involved,
Yeah.
And
well, we didn't have them either,
And but that's the joys of being young. You don't care either, And so we went for a swim. I remember it was more just to freshen up than to go for a swim. And there was a pub up on the hill, and we went in there, and talking to the girl behind the bar. And she said, what he's down from, we're telling her we're playing the music. And she said, look, if you play a few tunes here, we've American buses coming all the time, and I'll throw you out a few pints and ham sandwiches and whatever. Sure, geez, we sat there for the day, and American buses come in, and then the table would be full of porter. And they'd go off, and then the next bus would come in. Sure, we had a great time. She put us up in the B&B above and everything. We had a great time down there.
Yeah.
And Dolly Parton had been there. I can't remember the name of the pub for the life of me, but it was great. Great.
Yeah. Well, we went out... We had a couple of, we had a Norwegian manager at the time, and he had a big Irish wolfhound, and we went into parade with the big wolfhound and the Wolfetones, and it was a great attraction around the town when we go around the town with the big wolfhound. But and he had on his back, he had Wolfetones.
All right.
So
free advertisement.
Yeah. It was a spectacle indeed, and then we'd set up and play wherever. It was great fun, and then we went out to Dingle, and we were looking for songs and stuff like that, and we were looking for someone that had a good version of Roisín Dubh in Gaelic.
Yeah,
and of course we recommended somebody, I can't remember the name now, but. So he gave us the song and the words and all that kind of thing, and that's the version we have on the record.
Yeah, and was that the first time you heard it when you were?
No. It was kind of well known because Sean O'Reilly had used it. Yeah. So that was.
But outside of Sean O'Reilly, I think you were one of the first recording artists of it. It's.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, anyway.
Yeah, well, the song was kind of known before that. He used like Boulevard he used lots of Irish traditional songs.
Yeah.
In that piece, and it was the way he brought them together and, demonstrated the whole, like it moved with the whole story of the Easter Rising. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
And it was spectacular at the time to hear like the full orchestra and everything else playing it. So, it was a huge hit. And we all saw Mish Eyre as kids going to school, we were brought to it. And so the music was just a great compliment to the photography at the time.
And is it a Republican song, or is it just classed as a classical Irish?
Yeah, classical Irish. It's in a way it's a revolutionary song in a way, because the Roisín Dubh, of course, is Ireland.
Yeah,
and the talking about the French coming.
Yeah, and
the Spanish coming.
There's a couple of trains of thought in it, because it was written in the 16th century.
Yeah.
And they're talking about it reading about it. It can be translated as either Dark Rosaleen or Little Dark Rose, and in it was saying that it was thought the song was named after one of the daughters of the Éamor O'Neill, who was the Earl of Tyrone. And his daughter was getting married to someone else, and it had been written in the camp of A. O'Neill the night before the wedding.
Yeah, well, I guess there are theories on where it came from.
But that's it. Nobody knows. They are just theories.
Because most people recognise it as an allegorical name for Ireland.
Yeah.
Because during the years after the Flight of the Earls, you weren't allowed to sing songs about Ireland, and so they used allegorical names instead of Ireland, like Roisin Dubh, like Kathleen Houlihan, and all those other names that they use. So there's probably a million explanations, but they all suit the song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
I'm always amazed at how they pronounce Roisin. We call it Roisin down here, but up north they call it sort of Roisin.
Roisin, yeah. I've heard Roisin, Roisin Dubh. Roisin Dubh, we kind of say Dubh.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, there's all the dialects of Irish.
Of
Irish. And I think when I went to school, I think I learned west of Ireland because my teacher was from west of Ireland.
Yeah.
So it depended on who taught you Irish, really.
Yeah. So we obviously missed last week because I was so busy, and I'm back to work now 3 days a week, doing 2 days at home. Well, it's good to be back, but I think I was busier last week than I expected to be. So it was hard getting back into a routine as well.
I'm sure it is. Like I was just thinking there, like if we get back to on the road in October or wherever, you begin to wonder how do I do this?
Yeah.
But you have to keep sharp, and
I think there's gigs planned for the Barrowlands. I've seen gigs advertised for the Barrowlands.
Not for us, no.
No, not for you, no, but for other bands.
Yeah. Well, we reneged on that because at the time they were saying we could only get 500 people in, and
so that's only a quarter of the.
Yeah,
you'd sell out 500.
See, the problem was that
you still have to pay for all the security,
and everything else, and it'd be impossible to run the gig for 500 people.
Yeah,
with the cost of the hall, the cost of security, and the lighting, sound, and everything else. Sure, it takes I think it takes over 800 people to actually pay to run the show.
Yeah. It's
so,
a big operation, all right.
Yeah, it's a big operation.
Yeah.
But it's a fabulous gig, and you couldn't beat it.
No, absolutely. I haven't done it a good few times.
I think we're back in Glasgow, all right, but a smaller version of the Barrows, I guess.
The Grand.
Yeah.
Was it Grand? No, what's the name of it? The Grand? Classic Grand.
Classic Grand, that's it, yeah.
Classic Grand, yeah.
So we have two nights back-to-back in the Classic Grand. And
I've been in there. I've seen a couple of gigs with Shebean and Gary Oak and Glasnevin after Celtic games in there. It's actually grand little spot, like, you know, it's nice and close. You're very close to the audience, like, you know, so it'll be quite a good venue. You played there before, have you?
No.
This year. Oh no, you played in the Cat House.
No, we didn't play there.
No. Anyway, we'll move on. So I put out on the Facebook page today about, did anyone have any questions for you? And Joseph, I'm going to see, make sure I can pronounce this. Joseph Shinquin came back to me, and his question for you, which I'm pretty sure I covered in sort of a way, but we'll say it anyway, is, in your early days, did the Wolfetones have any idea of the massive worldwide impact their music would have in so many countries around the world?
Absolutely not. And we didn't even plan, you know, the following years or envisage the fact that we'd be still together 58 years on. But it was just day by day and week by week and month by month and year by year. And the years absolutely flew in, and before I knew it, we were 50 years together. The impact around the world has been phenomenal. And, it's just amazing the interest there is in Irish music, and especially in the Irish ballads, because they told the story of Ireland from the perspective of the people, whereas a history book takes it from the perspective of the historian. The people write the ballads for the people, and if the people don't accept it, the ballad never lives; it dies. And so it's an important input into our history that tells the story from the people's perspective. So I think because of that, and the great rhythms and the great power of the ballad that gets across to people across the world, whether they speak the language or not, they feel the passion. And it's been said many times that by many people that the story of Ireland, the history of Ireland in a ballad, and the rebel song is the most powerful of all music in the world. I think Bob Dylan was influenced by the Clancy brothers. And they used to go to a pub in New York, downtown New York, where the old guys would be around singing all the songs, like the immigrants. They used to meet and sing songs and everything else like that. They'd be working by day, but have a session by night. And Bob Dylan was so influenced by the rebel song that he said, he could never compete or never write a song as good as any of the rebel songs that came from Ireland, the passion that was in them. But as we know, he became a huge success in his own rebellion.
But he learned a lot, I think, from the Clancys, in the delivery of a song, and that helped his longevity, I think.
Yeah. But he felt something there that a lot of Irish people gloss over because they're so used to it, and especially those that think they're the artistic snobs. They feel like, oh my God, that's not good enough. They don't see the value of the Irish rebel song and the Irish historic ballad, and they don't feel the passion that is in that, because maybe they don't feel that passion for Ireland. But it's important, and I think people like all over the world, not alone Bob Dylan, but many, many artists around the world have felt that passion before. I know when many of the artists came to Shimsha Cushley and watched the Wolfetones, and many of them said, how can we go on after that? The passion, the energy that was in that band, you just couldn't compete with it.
Shimsha Cushley was amazing, I was young at the time. I think by the time of the final one, I was probably 18 or 17, 18. And I still remember it, I just look back at it, and even it's just a pity that there's not as many videos going around of what was happening, Good,
There are some, and
there's not, but there's not a great deal of it, with the amount of years that you did down there. What did you? 13 years. 13 years.
Yeah.
I think there might be 6-7 songs that you have
I don't know.
There's not many anyway, compared to what you did.
Well, they're recorded by RTE every year, but they probably lost the tapes or something. I don't know. They were reusing tapes at the time, They'd have the Wolfetones on at one time, then they go on and record Glen Rowe.
Yeah.
So it'll be wiped off. But, just saying, we didn't envisage the fact that we'd be still singing...
50, many years now? 57,
56? 57, 54. Well, 63 was the beginnings, 64. So make up your sums there.
So you're 57 years.
Yeah.
You're 3 away from the 60 years.
Yeah, my God.
I remember when you were singing Janie Mac and I'm nearly 40 and I was just thinking, jeez, my dad's old.
No, I think it's Janie Mac and nearly 80.
Now you're officially old.
Yeah. Well, 75 anyhow. But yeah, it's been a long and winding road and a great road and an honour to carry Ireland's music and story across the world. And in particular, a great opportunity for all the 4 young guys as we were from Bluebell and from Drimina and from Kimmage to get around the world and see the world and be acknowledged for something that was special.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you've never been in Celtic Park when you've to hear Let the People Sing being sung or the Celtic Symphony, especially on a European night. No. I've been there and it's just amazing. Like it's time. Like you don't. When I'm there as a Celtic supporter, so I don't really think about it as that's my dad wrote that, and people are singing it. It's just you're singing it out. But I remember calling you one time from Celtic Park. Yeah,
that's right. You said
I think Celtic were playing United that night.
Yeah.
And I said, listen to this.
Yeah.
Well, I probably half tanked anyway myself after being on the beer all day. But it's something that's going to stay with Celtic. Like that song, them 2 songs are part of Celtic folklore just as much as
Hail,
Hail, or Over and Over, or whatchamacallit, the other one. Oh, my brain's gone fried. Anyway, you're there for history for itself, so. Yeah,
well, I just it's amazing what you see on the internet too, because I saw this young girl and she was singing Joe McDonnell and
I've seen her. She's beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, so singer. Beautiful. Yeah, it brought a tear to my eye. She sang it so passionately.
Did you contact her?
I didn't really. No, I gave her a message, a comment. Yeah.
Well, you should contact her and say, well done.
Yeah, well, I did on a message.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You private messaged her, did you?
A comment.
Oh, just a comment.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that she got thrilled.
Yeah.
Actually, I meant to say we have now risen to 33 countries in the world.
Oh my God, that's more than we've only 32 counties in Ireland.
Well, that's it. So I can't tell you which ones are added, but there's some strange countries anyway.
Yeah.
So it just shows you either people are just dipping in, or there's Irish people living in them.
Yeah.
In them countries.
The power of the internet is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is, and it's a great source of information and to get in touch with home with people who are far away and they feel a little bit of home is nice to get. Hear the accent, hear the talk, the banter, So it's a little comfort for people away. I was away myself for so long that, we didn't have the internet, but, trying to get news from Ireland was difficult.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't even, trying to get, RTE news on the radio, shortwave radio or something like that. It was like, you had to go to the BBC World Service to get something.
I remember when I lived in Belgium the first time, and if someone brought the Irish Independent over, you'd be absolutely delighted. You'd read it from back to front. You'd even read the deaths column just because you had the Irish Independent, So, yeah, absolutely. It's great, because being away last time, I was able to listen to, because you have everything on the internet now. You have all the radio. You can listen to. Yeah, it's
brilliant. And, it's such a marvellous development. And if you think, it's not that old. No. We're so used to it now, it's become part of our lives. I was just walking down, I was down in Wexford there on Sunday, and I was walking down towards the beach there in Courtown. And I saw this young man, and he was wheeling his baby in a pram down towards the beach. And I looked at the baby in the pram because I love kids, love watching kids. But this kid, he couldn't have been 1 year old, but he had a phone in his hand, and he was tapping it with his finger. And I said, "My God, he's starting young, that guy."
That's terrible.
But
kids shouldn't be allowed near mobile phones until they're 11 or 12,
22.
Yeah. No, but there's so much like people. I think people in general, phones have taken away. Even when you go out for dinner or something like that now, everyone's taking pictures of their food or checking in, or It actually bugs me now. I have to say, it does really bug me.
It's gone beyond the beyond now, and we never thought it'd go that length. Because everybody has a phone. Like you just walk down the street there, and everybody's doing something with their phone either.
Filming other people having a wee on the street like they were at the weekend over in Dublin. Did you see that? No. Well, that's the thing I was talking about. I was saying the internet now, everything happens, and now you know about it. Like there was some sort of riots down in Bettystown, and there was lads baiting the crap out of each other and baiting the crap out of police and all that. But it's all over the internet now, so now you know about it, and you're going, Jesus, the world's gone mad, and then you see all the crack in Dublin with people out drinking and such. Yeah. And I can't blame them, but the problem for us is, and I've seen it when I lived in Bruges, the local town council have a big open have a square in every town, in every village in Belgium or Holland or wherever you go. Even when we were in Poland, they all have it, and it's a place for people to gather. Whereas we only have a few streets that are closed off to pedestrians.
There's plenty of spaces around Dublin. I mean, but I mean, Smithfield's a great space. I don't think people go up there.
But it's north side, and there's not many bars up there. You see, So they tried to make College Green pedestrianised when the Lewis was being put in, and they should have done that. In my opinion, they should have done that because...
but it's an awkward spot. It's not like a square.
It's not really, because you just close off the traffic and you just do a loop. You don't need to go down that way to go. The city centre should be more pedestrianised. Just my opinion.
Indeed. But, so lockdown.
Yeah.
I came back because I heard the traffic. I came back across the mountains.
Yeah.
From Courtown, and coming over the mountain now, I never thought there was weddings going on, there was christenings going on.
On the mountains?
on the mountains. There was some kind of a Muslim wedding going on, and then we went down. And
how do you know it was Muslim?
Because they were all wearing the head, the scarf.
They could have been Hindu or...
No. The thing around the
burqa.
Head. Yeah. Not the burqa, no. The covering, the head, face covering.
Right.
And, but anyhow, like there was that going on. There was, saw christening, an Irish party there. The baby was out there on the mountain. What else did I see? There was huge big gather of Indian people, and they were all around there looking down at the Guinness estate.
Oh yeah,
it was like the United Nations up there on the mountain.
But it's beautiful up there. In fairness,
it is beautiful, yeah, absolutely.
And that's we are a multicultural nation now, and that's the reality. And we need these people coming in to do the works in the computers and.
Well, I was thinking to myself, like, how did I find this place? Lots of Irish people probably haven't found it yet.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, like. When Irish people probably don't tend to discover their own country, whereas
they discover it last.
Yeah. Although I'm always getting out there, and I went up at the weekend. I went up to see the Battle of the Boyne. You know the way with OPW now, everything is free.
Yeah.
So you can go online, book for free. So I booked the Battle of the Boyne site. Where you go into the house, the stately home that was there, and it was. I'm glad I didn't pay in. Like, not because it was for King Billy, but it was just, I thought it was terrible. Like thing of the, it was all done, and you could do it in 20 minutes now. Whether that's just because they only allow you a certain part of it because of COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody goes in at half-hour intervals.
Yeah.
But I just thought, like, this could have been a little bit better, like, you know. And,
yeah.
But there's a good movie at the end of it, and you get to see the weapons that were used and stuff like that. But I just found it very, very quick, very boring, and not really informative enough, you know, about it, like, you know. But beautiful. Have you ever been up there in the estate up there?
I haven't been up there, but I think we did a video up there one time. I know when we done New
that
Grange.
was over.
Yeah. We were hanging around that area for a while. So, yeah, of course, it's a great site, an interesting site, a great historic site.
Beautiful land, though.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely stunning. The gardens, like, we went into the walled garden, stunning, like, you know. And they have this walled garden within the walled garden, and it's like an amphitheatre. I was saying, this would be a great place for gigs.
Yeah.
You know, there's a real, you know, for summer gigs, like, you know, it was almost like a bowl. You know, I don't know whether there was a pond in it originally or whatever, but it comes down into a bowl. Yeah. And I just could vision all people like sitting on the banks just listening to music and having their wine and cheese or whatever. But probably something that the OPW should look at, like, you know.
I don't need to get involved in gigs.
No, I don't think so, but it's a shame they should, because it would be, I think it's a great amenity for the people of Drogheda up there, like, you know.
Yeah, they kind of shy away from the ballad scene and all that kind of thing.
It doesn't even have to be ballads, like, you know, it could just be three-piece orchestra, just, you
know,
know,
that'd be nice too, yeah.
And I went to Doubt as well.
Where's that?
Doubt.
Oh, Doubt, Doubt, yeah.
Yeah, and we were up at John Boyle O'Reilly's grave up there again.
Yeah, that's right. He's from the area.
But there's a huge big house up there.
Yeah.
So have you ever been up there?
I haven't been up at John Boyle O'Reilly.
Well, next time you're in Keeves, you should go, because it's only around the corner.
I know that. Yeah.
But I didn't realise how big Doubt is. You know, like, it's never been open to the public. Well, it's open to the public. You can walk around it, and you can.
Yeah.
There's a gate that you can see into the tomb, into the passage. But if you go online on the video, there's a video online, and it shows how big it is. Like, you know, they've obviously put a LiDAR machine. You know, the LiDAR that they have nowadays.
But can you go there without going from the tour?
Yeah. It's the only one that you can go to without having to go through the tour. Yeah. With Nout and Newgrange, you have to go to the Newgrange Interpretive Centre on the other side of the Boyne, which is
that's right. Yeah. That's
but for Doubt, you can just pull up outside it, walk in, and you can walk around the mound. You can have a look in. You can't get into the tomb, obviously, but you can actually see. And it's a beautiful view. If you stand on top of the hill of it, you can see Nout and you can see Newgrange. Yeah,
I had a great experience. I got into into Newgrange for the winter solstice.
Yeah,
and I remember going down. It was kind of snowy, sleety kind of morning, and we went down in darkness, of course. And we got down, and I had a ticket to go in. Obviously, my name was down.
Many people allowed. There's not many that let.
Not many they let in. I was the day before. I was the 20th, I think it was. So you get the same experience. Yeah. And anyhow, we all went in. There was people there from all over the place, professors from Scandinavia. There was another guy from England. There was guys from different parts of the world. And we all went into the chamber. Anyhow, I guess there was about 25, maybe 30 people. Not, there wouldn't have been more anyhow, because we lined the top of the chamber, and it was kind of blustery and cloudy, and we are very lucky in the fact that it was blustery, because it blew the clouds away.
Right.
And when the sun rose up, we got it into the chamber, which is really a magical experience. It came down like a knife, coming down the passage, and it lifted up and almost went to the back wall. They said that before the movement of the earth or whatever, it used to hit the back wall, Triskelion at the back wall, and then proceed its way out of the chamber again, which is amazing experience. You know, when you think of the engineering going into it to make that happen, and to make it happen like so many years ago.
You just wonder, was there something alternative? Because it's just like, even looking at the construction of, if you go on YouTube and just Google or Doubt, there's a thing, and it just brings you right through the passage grave. I thought it was just like in Newgrange, it's just you could walk up and it's into a big open area. In Doubt, the passages are all over the place. It goes into so many different chambers.
Yeah.
But I've been in Newgrange. I've done Newgrange quite recently, and they do it with a torch. You know, they try to show you the light with the torch, and it's just not the same effect as I'm sure you had. Yeah. So you were very lucky to get that. Like,
yeah, it was.
There's probably only 26, because I think it's only the day before the day after. So you have 3 days that you can get light into the chamber, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that'll be 26 and 26, 52, and 78 people a year. So
yeah, it's an honour to be there, you know, and
I can imagine.
I can't say who it was got me in, but
you won't. But if he doesn't get me in next year, I'm going to tell him. No. I see you're out of beer there, Dad. Do you want to grab yourself another beer and we'll stick on a tune?
Yeah, good idea.
We'll do a tune
good
then.
Idea.
Okay, I won't introduce because I don't know what it's going to be. So here's the tune coming up now, and we'll be back shortly while my dad gets a beer.
Lonely soldier, go home. Lonely, but never alone. Good eyes, see nothing to shoot. Good feet, feel good, giving up good boots. Ask your father, how'd you fall? Ask your father, how'd you fall? Like a leaf sitting on the ground, good for nothing except kicking around. She died with her hands stretched out. She died with a hungry mouth. She died with her mind full of doubt and thoughts of weakness. So may your river never dry. May your mouth never lie. May you be satisfied to never know why. Sometimes someone just wants to die. Where'd you get those cuts on your hand? Told you about playing in the sand. Someone always is careless with glass. There's always questions that someone won't ask. She died with her hands stretched out. She died with a hungry mouth. She died with her mind full of doubt and thoughts of weakness. So may your river never dry. May your mouth never lie. May you be satisfied to never know why. Sometimes someone just wants to die. So lonely soldier, go home. Lonely but never alone. Good eyes, see nothing to shoot. Good feet, feel good, giving up good boots. Good eyes, see nothing to shoot. Good feet, feel good, giving up good boots.
Okay, so we're back again, and my dad has his beer. He's drinking a nice cold can of Rockshore Light.
Yeah, not bad. I drink the old light beer because I got used to it when I was in America. And the Miller Light and, of course, the Coors Light and what's a few more of them, and just got used to them. And, of course, there's nothing like a pint of Guinness. I love a pint of draft Guinness, but...
Next week, Dad. Next week. Next Monday, this day next week.
Yeah, so, in the house, I suppose.
We do the next podcast from a beer garden, will we, for the crack?
With a couple of nice slurpees.
I'm off next Tuesday. So anybody out there that's listening that has a pub and you'd like us to come do the podcast there and fill us full of drink, we'd happily come down.
Well, yeah, maybe Mick Beaton like that.
Sure, Mick has a big car park out the back. He just throws out in the car park out the back. Anyway, so what's your favourite beer ever? Guinness?
I love the pints of Guinness.
You've had beer all over the world now, so you must be a good connoisseur.
Well, funny enough now, I wouldn't be... I'd be careful about the beers I drink because, normally when we're on tour or whatever, I try and... We always ask for the lowest alcohol, so that we don't get smudged before we go on stage. So it's important to keep the old... Yeah,
Belgium would be a place now you'd want to be careful with the old beers over there.
They have very heavy stuff, yeah.
Oh, and the thing about it is they don't taste like they're rocket fuel. Like if you have Carlsberg Special Brew over here, it's absolutely rank rotten. But if you drink a Belgian beer that has the same percentages, it's actually quite sweet and tasty, and you go, oh, that doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah, and it hits you like a hammer.
Oh, jeez, I've carried many the person out that said they could put away pints and didn't care what percentage it was. And
yeah.
2 hours later, they were asleep in the chair.
Yeah,
and had to send them for a taxi to carry them out. But
I don't think beer works at high alcohol.
I don't see the point in it. Like I drink to socialise and to have a bit of crack now. Off times I do. The crack goes a little bit longer than it should, but I like low alcohol beer doesn't bother me either. I just like having a pint.
Yeah, it's having the experience. I think having a drink, and especially when you're singing, it's keeps you lubricated.
When I'm gigging now, I always drive, so I just drink that Heineken Zero, and it's actually a nice.
You wouldn't know the difference.
No, it's a nice beer. It's actually a nice beer, and people slag me but. I don't mind it. Or even when I come in for work now, I have a Heineken Zero rather than a beer, because we get doing the grass or something. You don't want to cut the hand off yourself.
Well, I was out in the garden all day, so I know all about that.
But I've been drinking an Italian beer lately, Moretti, and it's actually quite nice.
Yeah,
but again, I'm looking forward to next Monday and going to a beer garden and going to sit there. I've Monday off and I've Tuesday off.
There you go. Has to be beer time.
So, it definitely has to be beer time.
So, people were asking me today, are we going to get back to play at any stage soon? And it looks very heartening, I have to say, that things are opening up a bit. I know they're just saying you can have a few hundred people in, but that wouldn't work, I suppose, when you look at the cost of running a show. But I'd be looking forward to getting back maybe in October. And
I think by that stage they'll have run all the test events and they'll know where they're going. But the one in Liverpool proved that there was no transmission of COVID from the concert. And they had, I think they had 1,000 or 2,000 people in. I can't remember, but they had a good crowd in, and it looked really good. To see the crowds in again at a gig.
It's like the football. I mean, the football was terrible without the supporters.
It's great, and even better that United got beat.
Now, if you're a United fan out there, don't take that.
No, well, I have a fondness for Villarreal because Celtic played them about 15 or 20 years ago, and since then, that time, they have a Celtic supporters club over there called the Submarai, and they wear Celtic tops at their home games sometimes. So it's a nice touch for
nice thing. It's a nice thing.
But Celtic seem to have that with a lot of when I lived in Ghent, there was a load of lads, Tom Call and a few of his mates that were all they were all Celtic fans, and I actually thought they were Scottish when they came in because they had Scottish accents, but they just had it from, and that was from when Celtic had played Ghent in the UEFA Cup, the old UEFA Cup, and they just had
You see, the Celtic supporters make friends. They don't make enemies.
No.
You know, a lot of the clubs go over there and everybody's a bloody enemy, where Celtic are, you know, like the Irish supporters, they go abroad and they have a great time and they're loved wherever they go, and that's why they're appreciated.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, their fan base grows across many places because of they're liked.
Yeah.
Well liked.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I'll never forget when I was in Seville, and I like, they say there was 80,000 Celtic supporters there, but I reckon there was more. Like, it was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Like, you know, never ever seen anything like it, and I don't think you'll ever see it ever again. But when we left Seville the next day, we were going back to Madrid because we had a flight from Madrid. The police were begging us to give them scarves or whatever, a souvenir for the...
Really?
For the, yeah. You know, as we
So they were that made welcome, really, by the police and everybody.
I'd bought 3 scarves to as souvenirs. I ended up having to give them away to the police. They wouldn't let me go without getting the scarves off us, like, you know. But it was great to see, and it was great to see the reaction of the Celtic supporters in the town. The town, there was no damage done. Everybody was polite. When the pubs were closed. And actually, on the way out to the stadium, we wanted to go out to the stadium early. And it was really, really warm that day. I'll never forget the heat. Like, I didn't want to drink too much because I wanted to be in full health, you know, going to the game. I wanted to remember every bit.
Remember.
Yeah. And we were lucky enough because we didn't have tickets. Well, I had tickets, but they were coming up from the country, and they hadn't arrived by the time I had to leave for the airport. And there was no other flights out. We were lucky to get a flight to Madrid. And there was no other flight out. And the guy who was couriering them up, I think they were coming up from Portlaoise, and he got stuck in the M50 when the toll bridge used to be there, and we had to leave without the ticket. It was either a choice, wait for the tickets and get no flight, or go with the flight. So we just said we'd take a chance. And of course we met John Aiken and the gang over in because that night we'd flown in to Madrid. We stayed in Madrid that night and got the first express train down the next morning. And I remember arriving into Seville and seeing Celtic fans sleeping all over the street there was like a church cathedral, and they were sleeping on the steps, and I was going, and we'd no accommodation booked at this stage, like, either, like, we were going, Jesus, I'm going to have to sleep on that. There's my space tomorrow night or tonight. But lucky enough, within, I'd say, an hour of us getting there, John Aiken had organised us digs and got us a ticket. He's a great organiser. You could, three tickets and three beds for the night. Now the beds were, you know, they were grand. Actually, it was actually, you know, decent for what. But we came out after the game. The bars weren't open very late. I think the police had ordered them to close because there was so many fans. Not because of trouble, just because there was so many fans. And I think everything was closed by 12 o'clock or 12:30. But it was a long day, so I was sort of happy to be heading to my bed. But it was great. It was a great experience. You know, I never thought in my time that I'd see Celtic in a European Cup final. You know. So, will we see it again? Probably not. Not the way they're playing at the moment, and the fact that we can't even get a manager is even more worrying. Yeah. And they're talking about this new Australian fella. Have you heard of it? No. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Ange Prostologo or something. Logo. Yeah. He was the manager of the Australian team. And he got Australia. Australia did quite well in the World Cup under him. And he's also managed Brisbane Roar and Melbourne, and he's now in Japan with Yokohama, something or other. So Australian fans, Celtic fans, think very well of him, but we don't know him. So it's a bit like Wim the Tim when he came. Nobody heard of him, but he stopped at 10. You know. So I couldn't comment, you know, because we as you say, we don't know him. Don't know his track record. Oh, look, if he gets in, we get behind him. That's all we can do, you know. Exactly. So, because we're on the end of this album, Dad, the Foggy Dew is now done and dusted, and a brilliant album. I'm not saying that. I told you that. I'm not saying it because you're my dad, and because, but it is a brilliant album. And the fact that you did it live and did it all in one day is still baffling, and to do it so well. I would suggest that there's not a band in Ireland at the moment that could do what you did, like that. So, from that, if you could give your younger Brian Warfield, on finishing this album, a bit of advice about the future, what would it be?
To young people starting off?
No, to you. If you could go back in time and tell yourself, when the day you walked out of that studio, you could tell yourself something about your future, what would it be?
That's a good question. I think we were kind of over the moon with the experience that we just gone through. We had met some of these pop star fellas and all that there, which there was Wayne Fontana, there was Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, Mitch and Titch, all these guys. We met some of them guys, and they were all nice people. I would have hoped, I always had a hope that Irish music could make mainstream. And that if I had a hope for the future, it would have been that. I would have liked to see Irish music, Irish ballads getting around the world. Now it has. It has since then. Like when you think about it back then, well, the Clancy brothers had done well in America. There was a buzzing scene around the country. So would I give advice? Keep at it.
What advice would you give yourself? Not what would you give to people. What advice would you give? Like if I could step back in time and say, what advice would I give myself? Or what advice would you give yourself? Would you say,
get out of here fast, you're not going fast enough. Go back to the job.
Would you?
No, we were learning nothing at that time. No,
you've had a great life out of music.
Yeah. I would have said, you got to keep going at this. That's like I was very determined.
Is there anything you change?
Is there anything I'd change? I don't think I would. Like I was very, very young there. I was the youngest in the band, and I was sort of given the music end of it more than anything else, and I was given the songs, and I was more or less giving them away to everybody else and not giving them to myself to sing. So that was something maybe I should have took some of them and sang them myself. But that's the way it was then. Is
that because you didn't have a belief in your vocal ability, or just that you didn't want the responsibility of singing them?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. I loved singing them. I loved singing on stage. No, I wanted to give them something. Yeah. It was the kind of thing, and then the last person I think about was myself.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind. Like I write songs and give them to Phelim, and vice versa. But I guess I just go for whoever I feel is the best person suited for that song.
Well, there's obvious songs that suit people.
You must obviously write songs for Tommy's voice. Like you must go, well.
Well, I do. Yeah, I do. I love writing for Tommy because, like, Tommy has a great range, and you're not restricted to a sort of a repetitive melody. So in that way, I love writing for Tommy. So he whatever he does, he puts total passion into it. If you have a story, you tell him the story, and he feels the story, and he gets out the words unbelievable. I think there's no better ballad singer in our generation.
Yeah, definitely not, no.
Including like Luke Kelly, who's indeed was a great singer, but definitely Tommy Byrne is up there with the rest of them.
Yeah. Well, I think Tommy's better than Luke. And
yeah.
I've had that argument with so many people, but everybody has opinions, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and it's what you like and what you don't like,
Yeah. And I don't say it because he's part of the band that you're in. I say it from the point of view as a fan of Irish music.
Yeah, he's a super voice. He has great expression. He knows how to get words across to people and the story across to people. It's a great talent.
That's for sure.
A great talent.
That's for sure. So, are we deciding whether we're going to keep the podcast going? I had a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
I was thinking that we could go to Scotland to do podcasts, go to a bar, sell tickets for it, and then go to Celtic game.
What a great idea!
So we do 2 nights of a podcast in a bar in Glasgow. So if anyone's in the bars in Glasgow and you fancy taking myself and my dad over for a what should we charge him for a ticket? Oh, we can talk about that with the venue.
Yeah.
We could do 2 podcasts, a Friday and a Saturday night, and then
the game as well.
Well, it has to be a Celtic home game. And we have to have fans back. I'm looking forward to getting back to football. Actually, there's a meeting tonight with the FAI.
Well, I promised my 2 grandsons that I'd take them over to.
We got to turn them into Celtic fans rather than Man United fans.
Celtic game, and that's the thing. I want them to experience the great club that it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I still remember the first time walking down to Paradise. It was just such a great experience. It was lashing rain that day, but still great memory. And we were beaten that day as well, which wasn't a great memory. But anyway, we are now at 52 minutes. But sure.
You can play it out with one of your songs. We'll
play it with something anyway. I'm not too sure. I don't have anything lined up, but sure. So the next album that the Wolfetones released was called Up the Rebels. And it was a 1966 release. So you pretty much released this.
Was that was the Teddy Bear's Head before that or after that?
Teddy Bear's Head was 1970, according to this.
The EP?
No. I'm only gone with albums.
Yeah. The EP was before Up the Rebels.
Yeah, we're not doing EPs, Dad. They're only short.
You have to do that.
What? It doesn't come up in your discography.
Discography. Yeah. There's some like I Still Miss Someone is on that.
Say that again.
I Still Miss Someone.
Oh yeah, yes. That's a great song.
Yeah,
great song.
I think 4 Strong Winds is on it. I'm not too sure, but Teddy Bear's Head.
Teddy Bear's Head's obviously on it.
Obviously.
Okay, well, let's do the EP then. How many songs in 4? 4 on an EP, yeah.
4 or 5, I think. Yeah. 4.
Okay, let's do the EP for the crack.
Yeah. You don't have a copy of that, obviously.
A real copy?
Yeah.
No.
I have a copy, yeah.
Well, I would expect you to have a copy of Seeing the Tune.
I don't have a copy of everything we done, for God's sake. I gave them away to...
I know, when you think of all the stuff that that you've...
Aunties and uncles and friends and fans and everyone got, they come to the house. And
I tell you, if I was you and I was going back to give my young person a bit of advice, I'd have kept all the posters and all the memorabilia, all the posters with the likes of...
I've done the best I could. I kept what I could.
Sheemsha Cushlee.
Yeah, we miss a lot of that, yeah. Oh, well, next time around.
You should bring out a new Sheemsha Cushlee, a Wolfetones Sheemsha Cushlee t-shirt. That's what you should do.
There you go.
And make it like retro looking.
Yeah.
Be a bestseller for him, I'm telling you. All right. And I must get back that the bandwagon is coming back on the first Saturday in July. So we will have it up on the website to book. What's the first Saturday in July? Let me tell you now. Not the first Saturday, the second Saturday. It's after the pubs open. So the pubs are opening on the 5th where you can drink indoors. So it's the 10th. So Saturday the 10th of July, the bandwagon will be rolling around the streets of Dublin. So make sure and get your booking.
Yeah, it's a great experience, really is.
We'll only be doing Saturdays starting off until we get a feel for where we are in it. And so we'll hope you join us and have a bit of crack and
it's a novel way to see Dublin. Yeah. It really is. Fantastic idea.
So we play out with a tune that we don't know yet. So thanks again for listening to the first 16 episodes, because we're going to include the James McLean one, but we're not going to include the drunken one.
Okay, we forget about that one. Okay, we'll see you. We'll listen in next week, wherever you do.
All right, take care.
Bye bye.
I'm coming home, and how the years have flown. For far too long I've been a stranger in a strange town, so far away from all the friends I love. Now I'll go back to my green hills, those friendly smiles. For the boys and girls who cross the ocean wide and leave their friends and all their loved ones on the other side. Oh, take me home where I belong. I dream and dreams of home for much too long. How things have changed. Now nothing seems the same, for I have been away too long. I'm just myself to blame. And Molly dear, how could you marry him? For then you shattered all my hopes and all my dreams. For the boys and girls who cross the ocean wide and leave their friends and all their loved ones on the other side. Oh, take me home where I belong. I'm dreaming dreams of home for much too long. I remember well that rainy day, the day I came back home. I never thought that I could be a stranger in my town. And as the rain ran down my face, I cried my tears alone. For here I was a stranger in my own hometown. For the boys and girls who cross the ocean wide and leave their friends and all their loved ones on the other side. Oh, take me home where I belong. I'm dreaming dreams of home for much too long. For the boys and girls who cross the ocean wide and leave their friends and all their loved ones on the other side. Oh, take me home where I belong. I'm dreaming dreams of home for much too long.